So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another collaboration album review of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and again, I'm joined by Señorita Sabrosura today. Señorita, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm good, and today we are reviewing an album that Señorita referred to review, and it's the new Cage the Elephant album, and it's called Neon Peel, which came out last Friday. So,
Yeah.
for the I know the only Cage the Elephant. I'm not very known for that. I only remember that song, "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked." My
Yeah, that was a great song. It's super
yeah,
catchy.
I think they even put that song in a video game I used to play called Borderlands. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, at least in the cover or something, and that's I remember that song. But after this, I really haven't been keeping up with Cage the Elephant too much. Uh,
well,
so
um, I come with them, but they haven't put an album in since 2019. That was the last album, and I think it was pretty successful. They won awards and everything for that album. But my favorite album from them it's Melophobia. Besides the first one with the Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. Melophobia was a great album, all hits.
yeah, I probably heard it, but I've confused a lot of these bands, like with the Killers and sometimes I confuse the bands.
Well, I know about them because they always take inspiration. They say they drew inspiration from bands like Nirvana and Pixies. Those were their inspirations at the beginning. That quiet, loud technique, uh, and it's like very indie. And they played like big festivals after they became successful. But they haven't put an album in all these years.
Yeah. And when they put out that album that you mentioned, I was really into like metal stuff, like all the way. So I wasn't listening to that. So maybe that's why I don't remember it. But I did
Yeah,
remember the other song. So yeah, this is the band's. Is this their like fifth or sixth? I think it's their fifth album, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure, but I think it's like the fifth album, something like that.
Yeah, so we'll talk about first impressions listening to the album. We'll talk tracks, and at the end we'll rate it. So, Señorita, what were your first impressions listening to Neon Peel?
Well, on first listen, I thought it was very underwhelming. I felt like it lacked enthusiasm. I don't know if because they haven't put an album in so long, they thought, well, we haven't made an album in 5 years, so we should probably put out something. And they put out this album that for me is not bad, but it's not great. And they are super talented. If you listen to other records, they have the talent and the skills to write great lyrics, great songs. But here, I felt like very underwhelmed. Uh, there's some tracks I like,
It's
but
their sixth album.
oh, okay. Um, there's some songs I like, but I felt most of the record felt uninspired. I also read that this is the first album they didn't draw inspiration like other albums. I know at the beginning of their career they drew inspiration like from bands like Nirvana, Pixies, like that mix of indie and grunge. They also like a lot of punk bands, and but they decide they didn't want to draw inspiration, so the
Was
result
it,
was something uninspired.
were they listening to Maroon 5?
I don't I don't know, but it felt like uninspired. And I kept waiting for a banger, a hit like "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked" or "Cigarette Daydreams," because they always have hits like these great songs. But here, like I kept waiting for that great song. I also read the band dealt with deaths of the loved ones, the pandemic, and I think I know what the title of the album is. Neon Peel. The singer Schultz, he dealt with the death of his father, and then he was like taking some pills for something, but they causing like a period of psychosis. So he was out of his mind, and he was arrested, and he had to be hospitalized. Like he had a rough patch.
So that inspired him to do elevator music. I'm
And
sorry, Cage the Elephant fans. But yeah.
so I think that affected how to do this album.
Yeah.
Because it's not bad, but like you said, I wouldn't say elevator music, but maybe office music that you put on the background.
It's almost the same. So it's almost the same
Yeah,
type of music.
I don't know if but I think that affected the whole process and everything. Like it's not bad because they are talented, but it's not great. They could do better. What were your first impressions?
I was bored out of my mind. The first thing, and let me get this straight. This is an album that is 38 minutes. It's felt like an hour. I'm telling you, I've listened to albums that are longer and felt shorter than this. It felt almost like a chore to listen to the album, and I was thinking, oh, like where is that single with the spark, with the attitude?
Yeah,
It isn't.
the
Even the singles that they shows, they're they're pretty much normal, but yeah, but I'm like, I have to review, so I have to force myself to listen to this. So I listened to this like more times and on repeat to see if I would change my mind, and to see if I would give some positives about it. But yeah, on first listen, no, it was a hard listen to. I wouldn't say it's atrociously bad because I've listened to a lot of bad stuff.
yeah.
But it's also there's nothing here that grabbed my attention, or I would say it's memorable. A lot of the tracks just sort of like are there, and a lot of something that I don't like also is that a lot of the tracks musically they stay like in the same tone, and there's like no shift and difference like to make them exciting. It's like the same tone through 2 3 minutes, and it can get monotone at times. So yeah, it's a 38-minute record that felt like an hour to me. So those were my first impressions. So Señorita,
Yeah,
what tracks?
in review, it felt underwhelming.
Yeah.
Well, favorite tracks, it was hard to pick because, like you said, some of the songs like it felt the same, and there's even a song called "Same." Like, okay, yeah, it's more of the same. But if I had to pick my favorite track, it will be Out Loud. I like that it was the different song on the record. It was like a piano ballad. It had no drums, and I like the lyrics. I like he says, "Cocaine buzz and caffeine high," and he also said, "Man, I really messed up now. Too afraid to say it out loud. I can barely breathe. Who I'm trying to be. I'm still trying to figure out." And I think that's how he should write, like being honest. Like, don't write about the metaverse or neon pills. Write about your feelings like this. Like, I'm still trying to figure out. And maybe after all these years, after 5 years of not putting an album in his long career, maybe he's still trying to figure out who he is. Like he should write like this in for all the time. And I also read that he wrote this song after his father died. Like he messed up with the drugs and being arrested, and then his dad died, and his dad was something important for him because it's the one who taught him about music.
Yeah.
So
I wonder what he would have thought of this. But we
yeah,
will.
so that's my favorite track, Out Loud, because it's different. I also like the Closer over your shoulder.
Mhm.
And that for me felt like very classic rock, very Cage the Elephant sound. And that song, I felt like it could be like the second part of Cigarettes Daydreams, a song from Melophobia. Uh, this song, it mourns again his father's death, who passed away in 2020. I don't know if you know, but the singer and other of the members of the band, they're brothers. So they wrote this song together.
Not
So
like the Aces.
uh, and but I like that song as a the closer. Um, I don't know if I had to pick another, maybe Floating to Sky and Silent Picture. Like that's those songs for like very early 2000s classic indie. But that's pretty much it. Like
Yeah,
I like the ones that are like more slow and more honest.
yeah. So I like Silent Picture. I thought it was okay. And I
Yeah.
think yeah, I think Over Your Shoulder, and I would agree with the other song that you
Out
say.
loud.
Oh, what was the name?
Out loud.
I'm even forgetting the song names. Yes, Out Loud.
Out
I'm
loud.
like, that's how memorable this album was for me. Uh, but yeah, that's pretty much it. But I have lots of thoughts for the final round.
Do you have any least favorite?
Yes, Rainbow. It's pure shit. It sounds like a Maroon 5 cover song, and I hate Maroon 5. I think they're one of the most overrated bands to ever walk the earth. The first album, oh, songs about Jane, it's so good. Was it? Was it that good?
It was
No,
okay.
it was okay, but people, oh, this is the best thing in the world. And I'm like, no, it's not. Maroon 5 sucks. And this song, Rainbow, goes that territory. It's too, I don't know, it feels so generic. So
Very cookie cutter.
yeah, very cookie cutter, uninspired. I just fucking hate that song. So yeah, I would say that's the worst song of the record. Even, and there's a lot of cringe because Metaverse is kind of cringy too.
That song remind me of The Strokes, but without great lyrics.
The Strokes, but from Wish. So
Yeah,
yeah.
like the music remind me of The Strokes,
Oh,
but the lyrics.
another one that's atrocious is Ball and Chain.
Ooh, that was my least favorite.
Oh, that's another one that goes in
It
the
remind
cringe
me of
department.
bands like oh, like not Kings of Leon, bands like that. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, Kings of Leon put an album recently, and I didn't like it that much, but it's better than this one, let me tell you. So yeah, and Good Time, I don't know, it's just, I don't, it's,
Good time feels like when you're not having a good time and you're
yeah,
forced to
the,
be
the,
there at the party. Like everybody's having a good time except you. That's how it felt, that song.
I'm like,
Like very forced.
yes. So yeah, and I think Shy Ice is pretty bad as well. Bad as
More
well.
of the more of the same.
Yeah,
Yeah, on my least favorite, I have Ball and Chain, Same, and Chai Ice.
yeah, yeah. So I think we're talking about almost like we can give our verdict. Like, what would you score this album?
I think I will give it a 6.
Okay.
Because it's not a bad album, and it has some good songs. Like I really enjoyed those 3 tracks, but the rest of the album like felt uninspired. Like they can do better, because I know they have done better in the past.
It felt like, yeah, we need to put out an album. Like
Yeah, like I
now
said, we haven't put
we
an album
need to
in 5 years.
uncage that elephant.
We can tour like playing uh the songs from 10 years, 20 years ago. So let's do an album.
Yeah. So
And I think I felt like uninspired and underwhelming.
for me, this album was really a chore to go through. I was bored out of my mind. And even on repeat listens, it didn't get better. I was actually more annoyed. when I listen to it more. So my score is a 4 out of 10.
Wow.
this this is I was gonna give it a mid, but no. It goes in the thumbs down territory for me if this was an episode of Is It That Bad? So maybe we shouldn't tag the band on this review. But yeah, no, the album just felt like very uninspired, like they're on cruise control. And even the songs that are better, they're nothing to brag home about. There's no catchiness in this album. This song is lack of catchiness. There's no catchy lyrics. Nothing stood in. Like I was forgetting the names of the songs. So yeah, uninspired. I'm sure he had a good reason with stuff that happened to him, but it's uh it's like a mess of a record. Like it doesn't know what it wants to be.
Yeah, I think maybe he wrote the songs when he was doing during that mess. He should write after.
That should have made for a great record.
It was not necessary.
Yeah.
But like for example, like over the shoulder, your shoulder and out loud, they felt very honest. He should write like that, and maybe he'll have a great record, not a just
Yeah.
okay, not great.
Yeah. But yeah, we want to know from you, Couchers, what do you think of Cage Dallas and Neon Peel? You can insult me down below in the comments, but I read them and I answer them. So yeah, let us know if what would you rate this album? Yes, I think this is one of the lowest scores I given
I
on,
think
on
so.
a video.
I
Like,
haven't been with you with this lower of a score.
yeah, I was trying to get more into it, but the more I listened to it, the more it annoyed me. So yeah, I have to be honest. Like I was thinking of giving it like a 5. I was something like that, but I'm like, no, this is a 4. So yeah, we want to know from you guys what do you think of this album, and also if you haven't subscribed to Señorita Sabrosura channel, she's got the must have on vinyls. What's next for your channel?
I think we'll do I'm not sure if we're talking about shoegaze or more indie.
Oh, if you talk about shoegaze, it would be awesome to get the Green Man, even though he doesn't own vinyl. But yeah.
He knows a lot about shoegaze.
Oh, and there's another YouTuber called Stained Glass Stories that he's all about. That would be a cool guest for your channel for that. So yeah, subscribe to her channel. And with my channel coming up this weekend, I'm going to try to review more albums and more Is It That Bad? And I have a few interviews cooking on the way. So if you like that sort of stuff, subscribe, ring the bell so you get the notifications of when I'm going to be on the couch talking to you. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch.
Señorita Sabrosura.
And we'll see you next time right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.